Hill, we have Helping Hands versus DevM on Faymonville Approach, an all-stars game, two kings, rocking it out.
This is the game of kings, the clash of kings. You've got Helping Hands, the original king of the Hill Season 1, versus DevM, the newest king on the block. The map is Faymonville Approach, by far the most balanced tournament map as proven by statistics. And the factions are poised. We've got Helping Hands as his favoured Brit faction and DevM as his favoured Wehrmacht faction. God damn, what a game we've got on our hands here.
Yeah, I really rate DevM as one of the best austere players. He makes them look so casual to play. It's fantastic. And of course, Helping Hands, who has proven time and time again his absolute astute excellence with the British faction. Now, we are still playing by King of the Hill rules, which I believe they are both adhering to. Vanguard was... I think Vanguard was still in, actually.
MG42 does make it into the building. The Tommies are going to have to think twice about this now. So that's DevM with excellent timing. One of the many things that makes you a good player in this game.
Yeah, it was a really good decision as well. It's a big giveaway on DevM's style of where he wants to play this map. Locks down with the MG there, going to be able to keep hold of his fuel and possibly 1VP early on against the Brits. But it is a position that can falter if you hold there for too long. Of course, things like the mortar, excessive range that would be able to hit that very easily.
There's multiple things that could happen in this game. The battlefield is poised for many avenues of warfare. Of course, both players are excellent sniper players, and Faymonville Approach is a very open map. Of course, it is quite a narrow map, so mortars could be utilised. There's a lot of routes for vehicles. This could go any of many ways right now.
Really loving DevM's initial tactics on this map. He's going straight for the deadly cutoff. So all this capping that Hands has been doing here, about to be negated by this territory cutoff, denying all resources to Hands in the early game. And Hands is quite spread. I mean, look at what Hands is on the map at the moment. He is either side of the map with no territory.
He is. DevM's gone straight through the centre with the Wehrmacht juggernauts. Of course, the arrow of the spear has been the Grenadiers, but following up with the shaft is the MG42.
Very difficult engagement for Hands to win there. He already ran that unit through negative cover to get up to the wall. Wasn't benefiting from that high rate of fire until quite late into that engagement, meaning he's instantly pushed off. Doesn't have control of the right or the left, so not a particularly great game for Hands at all. He has no willingness to retreat. He's really going to sit back with those Tommies, try and get as much damage as he can, and basically pull DevM off of that side of the map. This is a very nice move here to get DevM off those choke points.
Really needs to take his cutoff back. All he has right now is a +11 munitions, does Helping Hands. But as ever with a DevM game, it often devolves down into manpower attrition in the early game. It's all about who's going to get the first big wins. At the moment, both players are playing aggressively, and we haven't seen any big losses quite yet.
I don't really know what Hands was expecting to happen at the start of that game, but it's a very risky strategy to go all out like that with the Brits. I mean, they are mainly enjoy being solidified in a unit, good cover. Very risky to hit out onto that side.
Hands has played DevM more times than any other KO2 player. He knows DevM, and he knows you have to be aggressive to survive the early game onslaught. If you sit back and be passive, he'll be all over you. So Hands is playing very aggressively himself here, and he's staying in engagement. So he's had to duck away from the rifle grenade.
Yeah, it was a good dodge, actually. Very good dodge. Good awareness there of that coming in. Really, though, one territory at the moment, and got to start reconnecting that. Engineers on the field now. He should be able to start linking things back together. I wonder if he's tempted to hit Vanguard and start capping with the Bren carrier as part of the 1CP raid operation ability that comes with that. Definitely possible that he could do that, but that is an early doctrine pick with a couple of telltale signs.
You have DevM with both high munitions in his possession at the moment, so he could be going for a mine-intensive game, perhaps, or maybe a Bren-intensive game. And there are options for him that don't necessarily require a lot of fuel quickly. Fuel you're just tuning in, we have got 570 viewers live at the moment. There is going to be a big announcement after this game, directly following it, so stick around after this excellent game of Battle of Kings. An unofficial final, would you say, Dan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we could have even scheduled something like this for the Kings to play, but this is quite nice, to be honest. They've all turned up and said, yeah, you know, we'll have some matches against each other. This is King versus King, real territory wars here at the moment. And two excellent players allowing each other to play in their proficient factions, which is an absolute pleasure to watch. We're starting to see Helping Hands, you know, come back with the Brits now a little bit from the brink of doom at the start of this game, starting to find his feet, starting to link those territories together, working his way into that mid-game.
He is, he's preserved his army, he's playing it safe, he's getting the 6-pounder out momentarily, which will actually make these Svansig Scout Corps pretty much obsolete.
This is a real rush for that building in the center there. Will the MG get in first? It is DevM that claims the building, putting these Tommies in a pretty awkward position, trying to avoid the arc of the MG fire. Hans isn't afraid though, he is going to be microing around the arc of the MG to try and get a little bit of damage off on those Grenadiers. I think he may have just fallen a little bit then. Oh, he still manages to evade the MG bursting up.
He's doing excellent, but the MG42 is going to stay in the house down because he's been focusing down the Grenadiers. So the MG has another chance to possibly stay in that garrison and finally find its suppressive bonuses.
Here comes the scout car in to counter the UC. There is an AT gun trying to get shots on the scout car. Will DevM decide to push it? Yes. Oh, but he blows up on what I think was a mine by the sandbags there. So great trade.
Excellent mine. Excellent mine. That mine was for infantry to stop them getting round the barbed wire and getting to the green cover sandbags. But it's worked perfectly for Hans, and he's found himself in a commanding position now. Yeah, that really was. I mean, we always say here, mines win games, and that certainly is a massive boost to the way this game has been going for Hans. What a great pickup. Fantastic pickup indeed, and that's good. Obviously a scout car isn't the most expensive of units. It's 30 fuel, 250 manpower, but it will inflict a blow upon DevM, so it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts and how he stays in this game.
No commander picks yet from either player early on, which is, we've spoken about this earlier, always really nice to see. None of them have a specific preset strategy, and I guess Hans, you know, we do have limitations on the commanders that can be used. So Hans won't go for the mobile assault regiment with the land mattress. Very interested to see what he's going to pick outside of that, if I'm totally honest.
Interesting engagement in the south there. We've had the rifle nade was late and deterred by DevM. He's going to have to retreat from there, but his MG's been doing excellent work in the centre. That thing's got 2 pips of veterancy already.
One of the things I'm really noticing with Hans in this game that he's doing very well is he's constantly pulling DevM off of the bits of the map that he wants to take. So if there's anywhere that Hans wants to go, he's almost kind of like throwing units a little bit too far into the lines in the hope that DevM is going to respond to it and bring something back to deal with it. And then he's kind of flooding the areas that he wants with the units that are going to overcome it. And this is doing really, really well. Now he's got the sniper there to pick off the support weapons of the 4-man squads, making the British Tommies even more deadly.
Oh,
here's
what
that
a
flank
shot
from DevM.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Flank is coming in, but that sniper's opened up really quickly and he's done very well. The Grenadiers have just been picked off, and is Hans going to stay in this engagement, keep the Tommies at bay? It's going to be very difficult. No, he just got picked off by the Core 98 rifles of the Grenadiers. What a pick!
Yeah, but that was an absolutely amazing flank from DevM then, and actually a Tommy squad goes down as well. So huge losses for Hans, absolutely huge losses, but such a good flank from DevM. He's held his own, he watched Hans push through the lines, and now he's returned it and got huge benefits out of that. Now we're seeing Hans go to the AEC.
That was 360 manpower, plus 280 for the Tommy, 640 gone in the blink of an eye. So a massive upsurgence for DevM, and Hans is going to be on the back foot once more. DevM sense blood down. He's like a shark. He knows that Dan's is in a predicament. However, the Panzer Grenadiers, 1 man, negative cover. Will they make it out?
Oh, I think those Tommies just dropped green cover for a second, allowing them to get suppressed by the MG42. Oh, it does die! The longest shot you could possibly imagine from the British Tommies actually manages to kill the squad, bringing them back into an equal game situation. The only thing lacking right now is the territory.
British marksmanship is his best. Well, we saw a bit of German marksmanship earlier, so these long-range rifle snipes seem to be a thing with the bolt actions in this game.
Yeah, they do actually seem to be the ones that get those last late accuracy shots, don't they? But then again, I mean, the LMGs on the Grens also do that very well, I think. They're very difficult to when they turn round.
Well, we've seen both in this game. The AEC out again for Hans. It's only the machine gun that's really going to do damage against infantry, however. Of course, with the profile changes that winter balance patch has brought.
Yeah, DevM responds instantly by building his pack gun. 10 minutes, so, you know, a pretty good time to meet with the AEC there. And there we go, Helping Hands just catches him laying a Talamine, which would, I believe, that still one-shots the AEC if he gets hit by that.
He's got the munitions back, and just notice DevM's, of course, superlative map control. He always has this, he always has territories, he always has victory point control, and it's ever-present feature of his games.
I mean, we have to remember, Hans has climbed the very highest ranks with the British faction, but he has been doing that with the Mobile Assault Regiment. So removing that commander obviously will throw his game off a little bit in the fact that he's not going to be doing his routine builds, his routine timings for things. It will be a little bit more of an element of thinking about that build whilst trying to deal with everything that DevM's throwing at him. I really like that he's changed sides here now, though. He's decided to go for the right-hand side of the map.
I think he's just reacting to where DevM is at the moment. Of course, we see the Gewehr 43s on DevM squads. This isn't indicative of a commander pick for DevM because he always picks Lightning War. And now, with the rifle nade missing there in the south, now he knows how one of Lightning War's features works, thanks to last week, after 3 years of playing this commander.
Hopefully we get to see him use it properly. I think he realised that last week, didn't he? He just said, yeah, well, you know, it's been a while.
I think he last played with it when, or he's never actually gotten to the stage in a game where he's found that out. One of the two. I think during his heyday with the older tournaments, it did attack infantry, so I think that was his excuse. I
guess that's what happens when most of your opponents GG in the first 10 minutes.
Exactly.
E43 is doing amazing work here against the Tommies, taking down loads of the health very, very quickly, instantly drop 2 models down to a 2-man squad, and that's going to allow the Grenadiers to keep their control over the right-hand side.
Look at this from DevM and the Pioneers. He wants to get to that retreat path down. This is how DevM plays. He's all about trying to get to retreat paths and cut them off. He doesn't get there in this time. He calls it off, but it's like a shock. As soon as he sees a retreat, he's like, right, what have I got that can cut these guys off and kill them on retreat? That's a co-master kind of play.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen that with the sniper as well. What's this from Hans, though? Did you see? Royal Artillery Regiment has come in with the Valentine being picked. This is a beautiful unit. Absolutely beautiful. One of the best crushing units in the game on the field right now, so DevM has to be a little bit careful. But this is going to give Hans a great little light vehicle sway back into this game.
Also, it'll mean that to DevM it's caught off guard by this commander's abilities, unless he of course sees the smoke, etc., and reacts to it.
AT-Khan gets a shot off on the AEC, forcing it to retreat, and I think DevM nearly had the reverse angles covered there. I just feel like Hans hasn't really committed to any of the sides yet. He's trying to go for VPs, obviously, to stop the VP drain whilst he kind of collects himself a little bit, but he hasn't really committed to one side. He's been pushed off by DevM, goes back to base, tries the other side, and it's meant that he hasn't had much stable territory for the majority of the game so far.
Two things to mention with that. He's fearful of the MG play, the superior DevM MG play, showing Wehrmacht players everywhere how it's meant to be done. Because that's meant to be the backbone of your army. And because he's fearful of it, he's resorted to artillery. He's going to try and flush that thing out to reclaim the centre. So it's an interesting meta evolving in this particular game.
Pioneers absolutely refuse to leave the building where the Valentine is currently sitting. AEC on the left side. I love that Hans is actually keeping both of these units spread out far across the map in order to minimize the effectiveness of the AT gun that's hanging around in that area.
Very good from DevM at the Pack 14 position. Hans, he has of course averted the danger and nearly destroyed the garrison, but the Pioneers do escape with their lives.
Hans has just moved his Tommy squad very, very close proximity. Might be a good opportunity for a rifle nade from DevM. It does. It comes in immediately. Oh, doesn't take any models. Does a decent amount of health damage though.
unlucky there. The spacing wasn't quite right for that rifle nade, seemingly.
DevM really is absolutely everywhere over the map at the moment. The tier 3 is in. We've got a Panzer IV on the build at the moment, which is going to come out. And it's going to be against Valentine and AEC, so this isn't a particularly good situation for Hans right now.
No, but of course, when he starts to get that late tech Brit tanks out, the Cromwell, possibly of course, the ever-present Comet, you know, he'll have opportunities to push back into this game. He's just got to keep the victory points until he can get to that late game Brit armor.
Determined, and we are down to 300 points.
So one of the big features about Royal Artillery Regiment is, of course, this concentrated barrage here. 100 munitions, you can actually use your base howitzers pretty much anywhere on the map, and I believe it's been removed now that you can't use that in your opponent's base territories. But I mean, this might be an interesting one to constantly drop on those areas where DevM is currently centralized. AEC in a little bit of a difficult situation here against the AT gun. I don't think Hans realized in time. Very lucky.
Very lucky. Using smoke to juke around the battlefield at the moment. Panzer IV's making actually quite a good entrance onto the field. 3 kills already and a nice little bit of experience. Look at the map, it's getting swallowed up in red. DevM's really starting to control the things right now.
Yeah, the good thing is though is that Hans does have the army to deal with this. You know, it's not like he's void of units that can actually work the situation around for him. It's been very unfortunate, like DevM has kept him off the upgrades, doesn't really have the munitions to effectively upgrade his squads with the Brens. And it's funny actually how hard maybe Hans has found to counter the support, the 2 support weapons of DevM's without the commandos.
In terms of losses, there's actually surprising amounts of parity. It's parity rather. It's a Panzer Grenadier and a 222 versus, of course, the Bren and a Tommy. So they've both lost a similar amount of things in this game, but it's mostly about the superior map control of DevM for me at the moment.
It is, yeah, and the VPs are really taking down. Great mine placement from earlier, actually takes down a squad that was engaged with the engineers on the left side. But here we have that push from the Panzer IV. Is the Valentine going to be able to deal with this?
Oh, it was not able to deal with it.
Good news.
But here we go, we've got the 2 of them, in fact. They're finding the rear arm, and the PaK-40, however, is in position. MG is not in position.
Here he actually gets the Panzer IV with that. Now the AEC is coming in as well to try and pick off the end shots. Could be taken down by the AT gun, just manages to get out the arc of fire. 1 Valentine engine damage. If he gets both of them out of there, he'll be in a very strong position for the end of this game.
Oh, what's this? We've had a concentration barrage called in. The ability is active. The PaK-40 does not manage to finish the AEC off. All tanks are getting out of there. And here comes the artillery.
Wow, that was such a helping Hans play. That was absolutely beautiful to watch. He did so much damage to DevM there and managed to get away with pretty much everything. And it just goes to show like what he's really capable of. He's now got a very good chance of getting back into this game with the army that he's got. He needs to get prepared and focus on a direction.
Counterpoint. DevM still has his veteran units, and he still has his veteran machine gun, his veteran pack. He had fuel control for most of this game, both high fuel, so he's ready to rebuild that Panzer IV almost immediately. So, although it was a good win for Hans, it definitely doesn't look likely to get him back into the game anytime soon. He's going to have to do more.
Certainly does have to do more because the next Panzer IV will be coming onto the field very soon. At the very least, you know, 11 CP forcing DevM to build that Panzer IV is going to keep him off of the Tiger for a little bit longer. And DevM absolutely is going to need one of those medium vehicles to hold off against the light vehicles that Hans has on the field at the moment.
Great point there. The Tiger is going to be heavily delayed. He has to go for a second Panzer IV, and this might lead him into Hans's late game armour trap if he can save up enough for his British armour.
Guns keeping that Valentine's at bay. There's a lot of engagements going on here, but not much territory capping. Hans, I think, about to split 2 engineers on the left side to try and get a VP and some fuel. Hans, oh, he lost the squad. I think he lost the Tommy squad then.
We don't have much play left unless Hans manages to get to this victory point. The Panzer IV's going southwest to try and stop it happening. There's been a triple cap for so long.
Yeah, when you're capping with 2 models of an engineer squad, I mean, that is, you know that the situation is a little bit desperate at this point.
It's just so desperate.
Yeah, he is.
I think a lot of it, I will say it again, has to do with the superior MG play of DevM in this game, both LMGs and the MG42. He was able to be in positions and keep hands off the victory points. Everybody watching the 640 viewers live immediately following this game. Oh, what's happened now? Oh my god! That's just insult to injury! Dear Christ!
Oh no, I don't know if Hans really had his eye on that one when he got in the building. The health was very, very low. The Panzer IV destroyed the 4 walls holding up the structure. Very, very unfortunate loss.
Oh,
and it's just the last thing that he needed to happen right now.
Oh, Valentine's enough to get him in this game. Is an AEC enough to get in this game? It's very doubtful. He needs those Royal Engineers to be capping points, and they're currently having to repair his light armour. At least he managed to kill a Pioneer in the north, seemingly, but it's...
No, this is a difficult one. And I also think, you know, one thing that does have to play into things a little bit, you know, he did spend early fuel on the Universal Carrier, then gone for the AEC, which is, you know, typically anti-vehicle now. It doesn't really have much of an anti-infantry role. So, like, going for the UC, could argue, you know, just put him back a little bit.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
Indeed. 645 viewers live watching Company Heroes 2 in 2017. Everybody here, please stick around immediately following this game. Big announcement to be made. A very exciting video to watch as well. About
well, don't give away too much.
Oh, okay. There will be no video. Stay indoors at all times, etc.
Remain indoors. There will not be an entertaining quality video.
As rendered on a 1080, I believe, or something.
Well, yeah, actually, very. We'll talk about that later, but.
Pack 40 in good position. Vet 2 on this thing, finding the AC, pushing it around. Hans has just, he's been brutalized in this game. DevM's looking absolutely imperious.
Yeah, he's just been completely flawless in everything that he's done. He's going to go for the second Panzer IV, doesn't want to go for the Tiger. I think he knows that he doesn't need it. You know, the Panzer IV is a little bit quicker. It's going to be better at holding off what Hans has gone for in this loadout.
Do you know one thing I've got to mention? Company Heroes 1, I'm not saying it's a better game, but it's a much harder game. The UI is fiendishly difficult to control, and the controls are a lot harder. So the fact that he's tournament ready and he's playing Company Heroes 1 at the moment as Wehrmacht in Code 2, it's a bit easier for him, to be honest. So it's not almost as though he's not out of practice. This is DevM cooking on all cylinders right now.
Who was the victor of the recent tournament in the...
It's ongoing, it's a flexi-time format. It's just about getting to quarterfinals now.
Yeah, Valentine's there misses a shot against the Panzer IV. AT gun does connect with the Valentine. One more shot from that will kill it, but of course Helping Hands does hit the surrender button. DevM, wow. King versus King. DevM played very, very well.
You want to know how to win as Wehrmacht in a supposedly weak Wehrmacht meta? Watch this game.
Well, shall I roll the announcement?
My loins burn in readiness.
Alright guys, well, hang tight. See you on the other side. really going to hurt. This is Paula's moment entirely, though. He absolutely has to nail this right down. The micro has got to be perfect. There we go. He manages to use more speed to get the Comet around the back of the Panther. What he really has, and he's about to take down the Pershing. Let's not fault this. He still has the Sturmtiger. The Pershing is down. Devem is so far off another vehicle right now. The Sturmtiger has a great opportunity to go in and deal some damage. He has to get control of VP immediately.
Try and find the south, and know it's going to focus on the units. IG-152 backs into the headquarters sector. Panther's going to have difficulty trying to get through to that rear armour whilst it's rotating. Indeed it does. Oh, Panzerwerfer for the massive barrage! Oh, dear God! That's genocide! Rocket artillery genocide! The Pumas are blocking it, it's trying to retreat, but they've got double block on it. They get rid of it almost immediately! Great call by Stallers, great play by Barton, using the bonus cover road to retreat, going all the way around the rear. No snares, no mines, Barton 1, Loveness 0 when it comes
to like trying to get the infiltration nades off. Does a little bit of damage, and he may be able to force that unit out of there, but here's the risk. Command Panther on the ice. Cromwell is close.
Oh no! Oh, this is like Jack and Rose. Looks likely that is the most ridiculous play in Company of Heroes 2 history. With all of his vehicles on tiny fractions of health, Barn has rescued this from the fires of bloody Hades. Dear Christ, what a game.